I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rekakwadash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and say peace, mercy, and blessings unto all of the hopeful elect. The true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which means he exists, or he is to be. The true name of the Son is Yahushai, which means he is the deliverer. This is from the book of Luke, chapter 12, and verse 49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? All right, so yeah, there's a lot to speak about. All right, this first article is from End Time Headlines. It reads, Hegseth warns that U.S. Marines are on high alert to be deployed in LA riots. Okay, and right now, as we are well aware, that they're already the National Guard over there in LA right now because of the riots. Okay. So this is what's happening. Okay. This is from Breakthrough News. Police attack pro-immigrant protesters on freeway. Okay.
Now that people are trying to block ICE from leaving this place, they're throwing garbages here onto the streets, trashing it.
Right now, that's your city. This is how the sheriff works.
Look, you had this guy taunting and messing with the police. He's gotten thrown a few times by the police, and he's keeping on going back to him too. This guy right here just got pushed by the police. After he's pushing at them, police threw him down, and he keeps going after them. How do you feel about the police coming through here today?
They're fascists. Quit their goddamn jobs.
Then get out of the fucking road!
These are the same streets where the riots took place in 2020 after the George Floyd incident.
That's all this is. I'll speak as a man, but this whole thing feels like a repeat of the 2020. Because now, we're hearing of there's a new strain of the 19, This is from news.medical.net. New blank variant NB181 spreads across continents amid calls for vigilance. And that's all I'm going to read. That's all you need to know. Matter of fact, I'm going to read it again. New blank variant NB1.8.1 spreads across continents amid calls for vigilance. So we got pestilence spreading. All right. It's from Newsweek.com. Alert urging people to monitor themselves for coughs spread to 3 states. Air quality alerts advising people to monitor themselves for symptoms such as coughing are in place for 3 states, with other warnings about poor air quality extending further as Canadian wildfire smoke descends into the U.S. But it's not just Canadian wildfire smoke. All right, it's chemtrails. There's pestilence going around. Okay, there's all type of shit going on. So back to the opening scripture here in Luke 12 and 49. I'm come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? So if you go to the Bible Hub and look at the different translations, this is Luke 12 and 49. NLT. I have come to set the world on fire, and I wish it were already burning. So the Most High say he come to set this bitch on fire, and he wish it were already burning. There's not going to be any peace because the Most High does not want peace. This is Luke 12:51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth, I tell you nay, but rather division. And there's definitely the division in America amongst Americans, especially Esau, Edom, right?
Now that people are trying to...
That's what we're witnessing. There you go. Los Angeles looks like a fucking war zone. Okay. Now I want to play a few seconds of this clip. Wait, I went to the wrong search engine. Okay. So this is from naturalnews.com. All right, Brighteon broadcast June 8 emergency update. Cali insurrection. All right. It's just one small part of a planned civil war to overthrow Babylon. Okay, so I'm going to started back at about 12:27, right?
Doing something to try to stop this. As a result, the radical left, facing an existential threat to their entire scam, they realize, hey, if Trump wins here, if he shuts down this massive, illegal immigration, kickbacks, fraud, smuggling, payoff scheme, then the Democrats are toast. They can't win without that money train from all the trafficking. So that's why they're pushing back hard against this and organizing their left-wing communist and fascist groups. And that's why they are trying to bait the Trump administration into an overreaction. And what the left wants most of all, and believe me, CNN wants this, Governor Newsom wants this. What they want most of all is video footage of federal agents or National Guard troops like gunning down some poor Hispanic-looking people who are waving a Mexican flag.
Which that's only going to cause more riots, protests, and ever since this man has gotten in office, the decline of Babylon has been speeding up, and that's his job. His job is to speed up the collapse, and that's exactly what's going on. It's going to be one hot summer, and there's also, rumors that there's going to be tea attacks, and the scripture speaks about wars and rumors of wars. So that's a worldwide thing, but it's also happening in Babylon. There's rumors of a Pearl Harbor like attack on Babylonian soil. There's division, all right? There's riots, protests, uproars, talks of civil war, Egyptian against Egyptian, So we're in that season of war. There ain't no peace. The Most High wants this bitch to burn, okay? And all of these are signs that point to the second coming of Yahweh Shai. Great judgment is upon this land, all right? Shit ain't sweet, man. People think they're going to have a hot girl summer or they're going to go on vacations and do this, You might make it to your vacation spot, but you might not be able to leave that bitch. You might not make it back. You might end up with a pestilence, all right? Passport bros, all them fucking, all these niggas are catching HIV going out of the country, messing with these thoughts, as Jake call them, okay? It's the end of days, man.
That's the image that CNN wants, and they will weaponize that to call for Trump's impeachment. They will weaponize it to say that
which, hey, the threat of impeachment could cause this man, could cause that to, could lead to a civil war, because a lot of people are, that were pro-Trump, they're now anti-Trump. But don't get it twisted. You still have a lot of people that are pro-Trump, especially among Esau, Edom. All right, I did a lesson a while back. Ever since Trump got in office, that spirit of hatred, all right, white nationalism, white supremacy spirit has been stirred up in Esau, and they're becoming emboldened, okay?
Trump is executing immigrants. You know, that's how they'll say it. Of course, it's a lie. It's a total lie. But that's the bait. That's the trap that is being set right now. So what's happening is pallets of bricks and pallets of cinder blocks have been set out. I've seen the videos for the radical leftists. And as the National Guard moves in, they're going to be assaulted with deadly flying objects.
And that's another thing. There's a lot of agent provocateurs in the midst to stir up violence. Okay, so don't be shocked and surprised if these riots, these protests turn violent, turn very violent. People get shot down. Okay. This is from 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that at the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So this is the visitation of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the beginning of sorrows. Okay. Verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, that's what we're witnessing. Uproars. Okay. Uproars, man. All over the world, not just in America, within and without. 4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right? So the Most High, as gave his prophets, seers, visions, and told them to note these things in the book thousands of years ago. Now we're in the days where we see them coming to pass. Okay? For like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. That's what we're seeing. And endings and effects and signs. And this is a sign of the end. All right. There's a strawberry moon coming up. This is from USA Today. June 2025 full moon. It's been years since you've seen one that looks like this. June's full moon, known as the strawberry moon, will rise on the evening of Tuesday, June 10th. It would appear extraordinarily low in the sky. Okay, let's go to X. This is the book Acts chapter 2 and verse 19. And I will shew wonders in the heaven above, strawberry moon, blood moon, solar eclipse, okay, and signs in the earth beneath, uproars of the people, wars, pestilence, earthquake, blood and fire, and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before that great and notable day of Yahweh Shem Yahushua come. 21. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. That whosoever shall call on the name Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua shall be saved. Because there ain't no salvation in any other name. And this only applies to Israelites. 22. Ye men of Israel, no matter their skin color, right? Hear these words. Yahushua of Nazareth, a man approved of Yahweh power among you by miracles and wondering signs, which power did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves know. So the door of mercy, repentance, that's stretched out unto the Israelites. Only the elect are going to get it, though. All right? 2/3 of our people, they're going to get caught up in the midst of this. This is the beginning of Jacob's trouble, man. Okay? This is war against the tribes. It's starting with the northern kingdom, but it ain't just Mexicans getting rounded up. Okay, they're gonna come at you, darker tribes too. The spirit of hate is being stirred up in Esau, Edom. Let me see if I can find that article and check this shit out. I thought this is the article I wanted to find from Forbes.com. Why the strawberry moon will be the lowest until 2043 and how to photograph it by then. We'll be in the kingdom by then. All right, Yahweh Shem Yahushua willing, but I speak that boldly. We don't have much longer here. You know, Lord willing, we don't have another 3 years. I don't think this man's going to finish his term the way shit is going. But you know, Lord willing. No, of course we hope. We're in the spirit of hastening his coming and to bring the kingdom, right? It says again, going back to the moon, the full strawberry moon will put on a dramatic show at moonrise on Tuesday, June 10th. Low luminous colored orange as it climbs into the southeastern sky. Okay, so there's signs in the heavens. On earth, there's earthquakes, pestilence, wars, uproars of the people. Okay, just like it says in Address, man, and endings and effects and signs. Okay,
You know, bricks, and probably many other things. Like what are some of the tricks that Antifa used to do? They would freeze their own urine, and then they would throw like piss ice balls at federal agents, which can cause a lot of damage if they hit you in the skull.
so a lot of these protesters, so-called rioters, looters, a lot of them are be paid. Okay, a lot of them are paid to go out there and just cause mischief, right? Because they want shit to become violent, right?
Or other areas of your body. But that's the kind of thing that the radical left will do, like, you know, catapult piss bomb wars, you know, things like that. Plus green lasers to try to cause eye damage of federal agents. And at some point, they'll probably bring in some kind of, you know, firearms, or certainly we've already seen fireworks, but I'm talking about left-wing firearms, anything to provoke the Trump administration into shooting somebody, so that can be caught on video. That's the moment that they're waiting for. And that's sort of, they want a George Floyd type of moment for the radical leftists, but especially the illegals. They need a George Floyd moment in order to declare total war and to claim that they have the moral high ground in, you know, coddling all of these illegals.
But you're looking at it, Democrat or Republican, they're playing for the same team. They have the same goal in mind, and that is to usher in the New World Order. Okay? But what you have to understand, what that means, you know, that means to do away with the dollar, to do away with religion. That's how we know Christianity and you know, image of Caesar Borgia cannot be the mark of the beast. That's actually a physical chip, all right? And here it is in June, National Microchipping Month. There are people right now with the chip, and they're buying and selling, doing commerce, doing trade, doing transactions, okay? The dollar is collapsing, all right? There's no jobs, okay? The whore has hit the wall, all right? Like, hey, in America, a lot of these women, they're finding out that, you know, through their whole life, from the time they was fucking 12 to like 35, they're just on a carousel. This man, that man, tricking off, slutting around, being whores. By the time they 36, 40, they hit the wall. No man wants to. Well, that's Babylon the Great. She has reached her time, all right?
Many of whom are violent criminals, rapists, carjackers, drug smugglers, you name it. These are the people that actually make your societies dangerous. These are the people being removed by the Trump administration. But no, the Democrats, they want the murderers, the rapists, the carjackers. They want the violence.
So you can expect more violence. Summer violence. Okay? I think that's okay. Capital and Maine. It's from Capital and Maine. Making Babylon Hate Again. In Making Babylon Hate Again, Capital and Maine explores the rise of white supremacy in the Trump era. The 3-part video series begins with an examination of how Trump's ascent coincided with a dramatic increase in both hate crimes and hate groups. So that's going to increase. Okay? So Mossad did not come to send peace. Okay? And it's always going to be that tension between Jacob and Esau. Okay? Which are the tribes. You know, Jacob being a tribe. Jacob's name was changed into Israel, but you have the 12 tribes of Israel. The Mexicans being one of those tribes. Okay? Negroes, Haitians, Jamaicans, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. Okay, so you can expect this whole ordeal, ICE deportation, and yeah, a lot of these niggas, grimy ass niggas, they shouldn't be here. They do need to get deported, but a lot of these people, all right, you know, they're here to make a better life for themselves. They're actually separating families. People that actually need medical attention, they send them back. They're falsely imprisoning these. And another question you have to ask yourself, which these people that are being deported, where are they being sent to? A lot of them are being not sent back to where they came from. They're being imprisoned. You know? So this is actually war. So that spirit of white nationalism that only Esau should be here. This land, it was stolen. You know, white supremacy, that Esau is better than, you know, everybody, especially the tribes. You know, that spirit is out there with Trump in office, man.
Benefit from violence. They benefit from it. They get paid off, remember. But anyway, they're trying to bait the Trump administration into overreacting. And that's why the videos that you've seen so far, at least the ones I've seen, they've only been firing tear gas canisters and paintball guns. And since I used to play paintball many years ago, you can instantly hear and see, you can recognize these are paintball guns with the air canisters and a blip, blip.
And first it started with the Army. Now they're, you know, getting ready to send the Marines out there. You know, I saw going to play for that back in this article for End Time Headlines. Hexet warns that U.S. Marines are on high alert to be deployed in L.A. riots. So they could send the Marines. The Marines ain't no fucking joke, okay? U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hexet announced that active duty Marines stationed at Camp Pendleton are on high alert and may be deployed to L.A., Cali, if violent protests against ICE and customs enforcement operations continue to escalate. Okay. The announcement follows President Donald Trump's decision to deploy 2,000 National Guard troops to the city to address what the administration describes as lawlessness stemming from anti-ICE riots. The unrest in LA began on June 6, 2025, following a series of ICE raids targeting undocumented immigrants in Los Angeles County, including a notable operation at a Home Depot and Paramount. And all over the country, they're just jumping out, rounding motherfuckers up, man. Okay? Protesters numbered in the hundreds clashed with federal agents with reports of tear gas, flashbangs, and arrests, including that of a union leader. Demonstrators, some chanting ICE out of LA, have been accused by federal officials of assaulting ICE officers, slashing tires, and defacing federal property. The Department of Homeland Security claimed that approximately 1,000 rioters surrounded a federal law enforcement building on June 6th, though these accounts remain unverified by independent sources. President Trump, in a post on Truth Social, criticized California Governor Gavin Newsom and LA Mayor Karen Bass, stating if Governor Gavin and Newsom, all right, of Cali, and Mayor Karen Bass of LA can't do their jobs, which everyone knows they can't, then the federal government will step in and solve the problem. Riots and looters the way it should be solved, which means what? They're going to use force. That's what they out there for, man. All right? They want people want to protest what Trump is doing, then they're going to come down with force. But what we're seeing is 2nd Edges 15, uproars of the people, okay, and also Revelation, all right, double getting ready to come down with great wrath. That's just the times that we're in, man. There's no, hey, it says in Ecclesiastes, KJV, those that I look out the window be dark. There's no future here, you know. 2nd Edges 15 and verse 14, woe to the world and to them that dwell therein, destruction, for the sword and their destruction draw at nigh. That shit is closing in. All right, Tupac had a song, you know, well, he has a song called Death Around the Corner. That shit ain't around the corner no more. That shit is, you know, feet, a couple steps away. I'm speaking of mass death, okay? This is from Richie from Boston fan page. You know, there's a thing called, I believe it's called Event 201. It's a warning from Dr. Martin, okay? What he's warning of is a bioattack on July 4th, 2025. That's 3 weeks away, okay? And 3 weeks away, it'll be the 4th of July. Let that sink in. Let me say that again. And 3 weeks away, it'll be the 4th of July. Okay? Because Yahweh Shem Yahushua is shortening the days for his elect's sake. Let me see that. It feel like this year just fucking started. You know, I'm not complaining. You know? I think that's, But that's good, man. You know, that's a hard-ass winter. You know? But, hey, Yahweh Shem Yahushua got us through it. This is Matthew 24 and, wait, that's completely wrong scripture. This is Mark 13 and verse 20. And except that the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, has shortened those days, no flesh shall be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he had chosen, he had shortened the days. So yeah, we're just 3 weeks away from July 4th, which there's a warning, which, you know, fair use. I'm not using this for any, you know, monetary gain, strictly for edification, right?
I'm distracting myself from this. So let's read exactly what is being stated. The joint inquiry into administration and congressional actions before and during the bioterrorist attacks of July 4th, 2025. Shannon, did you hear what I just read you? The U.S. House of Representatives Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and the U.S. Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. I called this hearing of the joint inquiry to order 9 weeks ago. Some nation or terrorist group, we still don't know who, attacked the nation's capital and other U.S. cities using biological weapons as we celebrated Independence Day 2025. The infectious agent that they used killed 280,000 Americans and infected at least 400,000 throughout the country in a single day, in addition to 200,000 dead and 800,000 sickened animals. Tell me why this, that I'm reading you on your show, isn't everybody's news show. Why is it that those people have the audacity of doing an Event 201 moment?
That's right.
Because remember, no different from Event 201.
That's right.
This report not only goes into details on the fact that we are allegedly going to walk through this scenario of a July 4th, 2025 bioterrorism attack, but then goes through the why it's important that Congress now uses that attack to take action to modify the rest of human society. The joint inquiry into administration and congressional actions before and during the bioterrorist attacks of July 4th, 2025.
Which I believe this Event 201, this plan was drawn up in 2024, okay? But it's, you know, in preparation of a future event, which you know how Esau gets down. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. There's always exercises, things of that nature, before they actually bring the real thing. And we're 3 weeks away from July 4th, 2025, and they're expecting mass casualties from a T attack, and this year it popped off with T attacks, and they said expect more T attacks. Yeah, keep your head on the swivel.
So I've been looking over this document for about 2 weeks now.
You see that? It's dated April 2024.
Came out in April of 2024. It's the National Blueprint for Biodefense, immediate action needed to defend against biological threats. Biological threats is bad. That's the stuff they use, different gases, all the different things that these guys have conjured up over the years. But I want you to take notice of who signed off on this particular thing before I read you what I'm going to read you. Table of contents, preface, scenario.
Yes, lucky for time's sake, I don't have time to play the whole thing, but you can check out this videos, Richie from Boston fan page, Event 201, or you could just Google, you know, Event 201. All right, but the point is, all right, pestilence, war, all right, the division. Okay, this is Luke 21 and verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation and king against kingdom. So we're seeing that. Excuse me, kingdom against kingdom. We're seeing that, you know. And there's threats of T attacks from China over Taiwan, you know. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, scarcity of food, lack of bread. You know, the whole thing with 201, that was a bioattack to target not only people, but also the food system, the food supply. Okay, cattle, livestock. Okay, agriculture, crops. Okay, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven, things to come. But now we're in the days where they're actually happening. All right, it's happening. Call Loyam La, Yahweh Shem Shai, which means all praises to Yahweh Shem Shai. It's the book of Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And that's how America is. It's a house divided. It's not going to stand. Okay? The women don't get along with each other. The men don't get along. Fuck the men and the woman. There's a gender war. Okay? The men want to be women. There's people changing their plumbing. The women want to be men. Okay? SEX changes. Okay? There's divisions over religions, politics. Okay? It's divided at every level. Verse 26, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then shall his kingdom stand? So it's not going to stand, much longer. But with that, I just want to do actually, before I end it, I got to end it in 2nd Ezra 15. 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and to them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. The modern day sword is your gun. Okay? That's your modern day sword. Okay? That right there. But now, the swords are for events, because it says in Revelation he was given a great sword to take peace from the earth. Nuclear weaponry. Okay? Nukes, intercontinental ballistic missiles. They have nukes on submarines. Okay? 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and should not be able. It's going to be, you can expect the return of LDs, you know what I'm saying? For because of their pride, and it's supposed to be Pride Month, not no more. Trump said, fuck that, For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, okay? The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. That's how bad it's going to get because of the famine. People going to run up in their neighbor's home to take their shit. Okay, so very evil days. It says in, I believe, 2 Timothy 3, in the last day there shall be perilous times. Okay, when you look into that word perilous, it means savage-like. So it's going to get real savage out here. So just a quick lesson. I pray this has been informative and edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai. I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect.